No, it's okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a live studio recording here today. Please keep in mind no swear words because it goes on the internet. And I'd like to introduce for you the host. Woo!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you out here. We're presenting today the Stakeholder Banter podcast. So, welcome in our studio. So, I am Umberto Dang, and I will be your host for today. And I will bring you this podcast directly from our co-design studio. I promise you will not be disappointed. So, we're going to talk about stakeholders and clients within projects. These specimens are commonly referred as the beyond user, and from various sources we heard that it can be quite a hassle to work with them. So, to give you some tools and some basic understanding for future projects, we flew over some expertise from elsewhere, and I would like to welcome you, Marty Garage. How was the flight? It was a 10-hour flight, right?
It was a long flight, but I'm happy to be here and it was all good. So
nice. And what do you think of Utrecht?
It's a really beautiful city. It's the second time I've been here right now, and I'm in love.
Good to hear. Nice to have you here. And for our next guest, we like to welcome Elizabeth Roosevelt. Nice to meet you. I'm glad you could be here today. It was kind of doubtful if you could make it, but there you are.
Yes.
All right. Our next guest is Robin Hayes. Okay, guys, keep it quiet. I know you all came for Robin Hayes today. We want also people to listen to our radio. So there is he, Robin Hayes. Thank you.
Thanks, Humberto.
And our last guest is Philip Field. How are you? Yeah. How was the trip to here? Okay, nice. So, these guys are really the experts. If you talk about beyond user terms, they studied and they collected information from various sources around the world. They have broad understanding of what it is to work with clients and other stakeholders. So what I would like to ask you guys, what's the most memorable experience in collaborating with clients? Yeah, Robin.
Yeah, thanks, Humberto. I have to say, when working with clients, the most memorable thing is when they develop their own ideas and they literally dress themselves in those ideas and stare at themselves in the mirror with a smirky smile.
What I just love is that when you speak to people through maybe with phone or via email or have contact where you're not face to face, and then they kind of look like they are a really direct person and they're really angry and they don't want to be involved in the project. But then when you meet them face to face, it's completely different. So I really love that.
So your advice is really to get involved and meet
really.
them.
Those were my best experiences.
Okay, good. Thank you. So my next question is, what are the key aspects in working successfully with clients? I think that's a good one for you, Marty, as well.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think the key aspects is to really understand what the client needs and what he's struggling with, because you should not pretend that you get what he is saying. So whenever you don't get it, just keep asking, and you really want to get to the bottom line and to get to the real problem, and so because that will make them happy. Because if you don't get the point, so keep asking and try to see the complex picture.
Okay, interesting. What do you have to say about that, Phyllis?
Yeah, well, to be honest, there are always some aspects you cannot guide, but you always have to start with yourself. So be proactive and be the one who decides who's taking the next steps. That puts you in the driver's seat. And also avoid using design terms that the client is not familiar with. So make sure the client knows what every step in the process contains, and that he is aware of what the differences are between an idea, a concept, or a final deliverable.
So really not make it too complex, you say.
Yeah, and also to level all the expectations.
But sometimes you say all the people are really a bit of the owner of the whole product. But you say the designer must have the other hand in that.
Yeah, well, to some extent he does. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
Wise words by Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have you here on the couch, Phil. It's contributing.
Thank you.
What are the structures or techniques that you use to make stakeholders contribute to the project as a part of your team? Elizabeth.
Thank you. Well, at IBM, we apply design thinking a lot and try to keep our stakeholders in the loop as much as possible. Sometimes it may be hard to explain to a stakeholder that design is actually a collaborative process. It's not isolated, and you don't get just a ready design product that you can use, but you are also part of the whole designing. And sometimes even the sheer motivation, the sheer curiosity with which you research and ask your questions can also help you get your stakeholders to work with you.
So really convince them with your enthusiasm and your insights and your ideas.
Yes, make them part of your team.
Okay, thank you. So, when you look at a team and a project, you always see some kind of hierarchy. But what we want to look at in the co-design is how to break that hierarchy. And I want to ask you, Philip, how could you just lower that amount of hierarchy that's in the group?
Yeah, well, to be clear, there is no hierarchy between you and the client. You as a designer have been asked for your expertise by a client. So the client needs your help because you know more about a certain subject than he does. So you can feel comfortable and be yourself.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Period.
Completely?
Yeah.
Your scarf doesn't.
Okay. Keep it quiet, guys. Alright. At which point during the project would you avoid involving the client?
Yes, thanks, Humberto. To be honest with you, I think when you're brainstorming ideas and detailing the concept, there will be some just particular points where you might just, leave them out for a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Do you know what I mean, Elizabeth? She does.
Right. What do you think, Marty?
Well, what we try to do is to really don't present the concept when they are in the early phase, because especially with if we don't know how to present it, because it has to be in the right way, because we want to translate a good message. And some clients have trouble with the abstract thinking that you as a designer may have. So you can see potential in things that are there, where he, because it's a different way of thinking, he or she isn't. So we only present when the concept touches all of the aspects, which is not really about the real problem, which it touches that problem, then we present. So it's mostly in the end phase.
Okay. So sometimes you want to have the client on the background just to really get a full
definitely.
product.
Of course, it differs from every client, because some clients already have the abstract thinking, but most of them don't.
Right. Thank you. So, how do you structure the communication with your client, and how do you prepare your client for a project? I think that's something you have experience with.
Well, what we do normally is we schedule meetings, and sometimes we give weekly updates to each other. It's either this or we just meet them and have a regular update in general when it's needed. But this also really depends on the client. You have 3 categories of clients. You have the first one that wants to be involved in every detail of the whole project. Everything you do, he wants to know every step you take and what you did. Then you have the second one who wants an update once every while. And that's the last one. We only want to see the end result, which I already talked about. And for them, we always try to explain which steps we took and what we did there, so that he can still see the design process.
Okay, nice. So that brings me to the next question. To hang on to get a bit deeper into that. What communication tools work best in a project? So I think a good one for Robin.
Me? Oh, okay. Well, you know what? There's so many different forms of communication these days. I mean, you've got WhatsApp, Facebook, email, but I think face-to-face communication and coffee, that's the real deal.
Yeah.
And that's the key to get to know your client best. That's what I think.
So just meet them and have a nice time together to easen it up a
Have
little
an
bit.
espresso, have a chat, just see where you go.
Okay, interesting. And how do you have control over your clients' expectations?
Yeah, well, you are the designer, so you are the one who needs to make a bigger decision in a project. And what I usually do is I try to make the client feel like he made a certain decision. So he feels more comfortable with a certain decision or an idea, and it's less likely he will change the direction of the way you're heading later on. And I always be sure I have multiple moments of feedback. Yeah.
So if you have a really good and strong idea, you could try to let your stakeholder or your client come up with that same idea, that he has the feeling that it is.
Yeah, you kind of have to, it's a bit tricky, but in the process you kind of want to give the client confidence or the feeling that he made a certain decision.
Alright. Well, it can also be his decision and his idea, of course.
It can be, of course.
Okay.
Some situations.
So, what is your advice, Elizabeth, to handle client relationship that isn't on a good foot? Sometimes you really have a project and the relationship is beginning to break down.
I see what you mean. Well, when you're down at that point, a catch-up meeting is very good. Some quick presentations, explanation, conversations with your client, and maybe another good idea is to learn how the client can impact the project and how he can change the brief, so you get on the same track at some point again.
All right. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good one. Really, to get on the same track, you have to be honest.
Yeah, of course. But the real expert is Robin, of course.
That's true. I am the expert in being honest, and that's my number one rule. I mean, if it's not going well, tell the client, try and finish it off as neatly and quickly as possible. But you know what? If it can be saved, go out, do something fun with the client. Have a beer, see what happens.
Just to ease it up a little
Yeah,
bit.
just lighten it up.
Okay, that brings me to our final phase of our podcast, our stakeholder banter. I would say, guys, thank you for coming, and grab a beer, and we will see you next time on Stakeholder Banter. Thank you. Thank you for having
I won't be back.
Alright, see you next time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.